Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of Be Culture, YouTube series with myself and friends. Okay, produced by Otis Brown, Beans that is. First book is The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews. So this book right here is a book for any age group I recommend. You find that at your Barnes and Nobles, your Borders, any book club, any online site. You know, it's a great book. It's about a man who is going through it. He has some downs going on in life, trying to help out his sick daughter, and money is tight at the moment for him and his wife. So he gets into a car crash one night and goes in a coma. During this coma, he seeks through about 7 different phases of life where he meets these historic figures, and they tell him about all types of trials and tribulations and how when things are bad, they can be worse. So you need to appreciate the little things in life and just know that everything that you go through, there's a reason for it, and you just become stronger. Struggle builds character.
When you gave me the book, I really didn't know what to think. It's a very kind of generic name. I definitely didn't expect it to be what it was.
So when reading this book, looking at the title, first of all, I found out this book simply on an Instagram page for book readers. What a cool book name, The Traveler's Gift. It makes you think about him time traveling, which he was in a sense, but maybe not in a way that you would think. You know, not like a Back to the Future type of thing, but like just the valuable lessons that he learned. So I judge this book as something being maybe quite dull and maybe him on a mission. He was on a mission in a way, but not the mission that I thought.
I wouldn't say there was a particular chapter, but I did take a bunch of notes. I wrote down a bunch of quotes that really, spoke to me. So if you don't mind, I'm going to answer it that way.
Go ahead.
And page 28, he said, until a person takes responsibility for where he is, there is no basis for moving on. That one really stuck with me. And another one, he says on page 45, we are always and forever influenced by those with whom we associate. That spoke a lot to me because they always say you are basically the people that surround you.
Yeah, you are who you hang with.
And if you think about it, you become the people that are around you, for the good or for the bad.
Yeah. So for me personally, many quotes, but the characters that he met. I want to say the character that touched me the most was when he found himself with Anne Frank. He wakes up in the corner, and somebody's telling him shh, and it's Anne Frank and family during time of Hitler and the concentration camps. So they're having a quiet, most gentle conversation, and he's just saying, "How are you so calm with what's going on outside?" And how they share the rooms because they had to be quiet so they wouldn't get captured to go to concentration camps. So she has about an inch of a room. Like, let's say this is a twin bed. She has one side, she has the other. That's their room together. He said, how can you function with no privacy? She says that she basically just blocks everything out and just appreciates what she has. That part right there spoke volumes. Another part, I say, Abraham Lincoln, right before he gave his speech. So this speech was one of the first ones, I believe, freeing the slaves. Mm-hmm. Him saying, "Aren't you nervous? Aren't you nervous about who was the president before you and what shoes you have to fill?" He would just telling him how there's really no pressure. You just need to be yourself. There's always gonna be pressure in life, but you need to still rise to the occasion and show up and do what you need to do. Those parts they really did it for me.
And I like the way the whole book was set up, him going back and talking to these people, because you kind of never understand. I mean, the book doesn't make you understand what they're thinking, but it kind of gives you an idea of what they were going through at that moment and how it applies to our lives, because we all got to make decisions, maybe not as big as the ones they had to make, but we all got to make decisions, and there's a lot of times it's tough decisions. So him going back and meeting those people and kind of just thinking about the history of things, it was very inspirational.
Very inspirational. And like I said, this book will just do it for you. I'm telling you right now, this is my favorite book. Now, another book, which I'll put at 1B, is The Alchemist. Very famous book, but this book right here, very underrated. This book right here is the John Starks of all books. Those for my basketball fans out there. The John Starks of all books. Trust me. I would say for me, at the time I was reading this book, The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews, I was in a stage where I was lost in life. I read this book 2013, and I just went through another bad breakup with one of my old loves, and I was trying to it was my wrongdoing. So I figure, why not, you know, feed myself intellect. And just going through this book, you know, I'm not gonna say a book can change your life, but it can definitely spark your brain to to make better decisions.
I think a book could change your life.
Yeah.
It
So,
could.
so just me reading this book, my current situation in life, just I'm a 27-year-old man who finishing up school. Who still in my head, I still think like I wish I would have finished 2011 with people my age. 'Cause now I'm in like a time zone difference with a different generation. I'm just lost, and with God's grace, I graduate next fall. But with this book, I'm just thinking like the mistakes, meeting people. This book, he met 7 different people in 7 different parts of his life. I see that as you traveling the world. I'm not saying you going across the country. It could be you going to a different town, different city. Conversations you share with different people, it sparks your brain. Because not everybody's interesting, but people are, you need to grasp the words they say. It could be a guy who's some Joe Schmo working at Amtrak punching the tickets. I'm telling you, little things go a long way. So this book with my current situation in life is just telling me that no matter how bad I think things are with me, whether it's financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, it could be worse. And there's always some inspiration out there. You know, I, you may have an Anne Frank in your life, a King Solomon, a Abe Lincoln, There's going to be somebody in your life to push you in some sort of way to make you do better. So this book right here is really like if you were ever a Debbie Downer in your life about your life, this book could influence you to do better. I'm not saying it's gonna make you a billionaire, but it's gonna make you a more kind-hearted person than you were before reading this book. And it's not a long read. Honestly, if you're motivated, you can finish this book in about 2 hours. 2 hours, you know.
And to build on what you said, I think motivation, that shows that motivation does come from anywhere. A lot of times we feel like motivation has to come from certain places or certain people.
Mm-hmm.
But there was one guy in the book, I think he was a general or something in the army.
Yes.
He had a lot riding on him, and he was an average person. And I think that applies to every day because, I've met homeless people who have stories that have helped me not to make the mistake that they made. So motivation and guidance, it can come from anywhere. So you should never feel like I can't get anything from this situation or from this person. I would recommend it really for anybody, but I think where we're at in life, I think that's the perfect age group because it's a lot of decisions that have to be made. We all feel like by, 25, 30, we should be
millionaires.
We all should
everything
should be set.
Everything should be set.
Not. We should have a wife and a kid.
Lamborghinis, Ferraris, the works.
But the
works.
truth of the matter is a very small percentage of people have life together by this age. So we all are looking for a little inspiration. We're all looking for something that'll help us to stay motivated and to see it from the perspective of someone who was his age. What was he, like in his 40s in the book?
He was, let's say, mid-40s. Mid-40s.
To see that people even at that age go through things and struggle, it should make us feel a little better about ourselves and say, we got, not that we got time, but we do have time. And we need to not be too hard on ourselves because we're not where we want to be in life.
Because what I also found out is everybody's not so happy. You meet people who have these degrees and everything like that, and, they still won't be right from within. You know what I mean? And the guy in his book, Traveling, is David Ponder. As he's in his coma, when he wakes up, his wife is by the hospital bedside telling him, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And after he goes through these travels, what does he say to her? Everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to be all right. End of the day, everything's going to be all right. It's God's timing, and, it's a format on how life works. You may not have the job you want today or the degree you want today or the girl you want today, but everything happens for a reason. And in this book, his daughter is going through an illness. I believe it's a very illness that they need money for the surgery. He doesn't have it at the moment. He's just freaking out, trying to get more hours, and he gets almost laid off, I believe, from his current job situation at the power plant. And we freak out, we spiral when things clutter. I'm not saying that I can't judge another man's wallet or bank account, but when things happen, sometimes everybody handles their stress differently. Definitely. Some people can smoke it away like, man, I'll be good. Some people just panic and start yelling and start budgeting instantly something happens. Like maybe I can't have this for dinner. Maybe I can have this. You know, this book is good for your life. Like I read this book 3 times from 2013 to about last summer. This book is constantly motivating you because when you read it over and over again, you miss something that you should have read before. And I can't explain how much this book has done for me. So during reading this book, The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews, my favorite quote, which is also tattooed on my back, this is in chapter 7 by Chamberlain during the War of Gettysburg. Chamberlain is a lieutenant of the Army. Okay, he says, as a leader, I have the ability to encourage and inspire others to greatness. That right there speaks volumes. We all don't believe that we're leaders, but we are. You lead in some sense, okay? You have the ability to encourage and inspire others to greatness. I relate this to sports so much because in sports, you know, everybody's not an all-star, but best believe somebody inspires somebody, always. Somebody may be more talented than you, but you may inspire them to be that talented. And finishing, it is true, as an army, sheep led by a lion will defeat any army of lions led by a sheep. I'm going to read that again for you guys. It is true, an army of sheep led by a lion would defeat an army of lions led by a sheep. Think about that, okay? Because if you're led by a sheep, you're gonna lose that war. If you're led by a lion can motivate those sheeps to win that war. In closing, so this is one of the first documentaries, book reviews of Be Cultured by Justin Taylor, produced by Otis Brown. The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews. Like I said, I recommend you get this book. It's very fundamental for life, for you growing up as a young woman, young man, or maybe even your latter part of your life. This book right here speaks volumes. It'll motivate you in ways that you couldn't even fathom. And I just want to say that I love reading. I just started reading as a sport about 4 years back, and it changed my life. 2012, I started really reading, and this reading, it captivates your mind so much. You know, I know we're in an era where everything's online and on our phones, and we don't really live life. Go out to a park, read a book. I'm telling you, try to read 3 chapters a day if you can. Reading feeds the mind. Because things on TV right now, try to stay away from reality shows as much as you can. I know we like our ratchet, but you know, tone it down some. Be cultured. Read. Have a good one.